Next, we have Heather Jameson. Heather was born in the mining and smelting town of Noranda, Quebec, which led in a long and complicated path to an interest in the environmental impact of mining. She's a professor of geology and environmental studies at Queen's, and she won the Peacock Award from the Mineralogical Association of Canada. This is awarded to a scientist who has made exceptional contributions to the scientific community of mineralogy in Canada. And for this, we stoned her. Literally, we got nice little rocks and signed them and put them in a glass vase, and this only appeals to people with this particular interest. And she's going to tell us a story about the day she went to Deline.
This is a true story, a chapter in my life as a geologist. And Vic already told us to think about the map of Canada, and I want to do the same. I want you to close your eyes, imagine a map of Canada, this amazing country we live in, and you go up and then you go left or west. In the Northwest Territories, there's two big lakes, like they're big lakes, the size of our Great Lakes. The one to the south, Great Slave Lake, it's got a few towns around it. The biggest one is Yellowknife. That's where this story begins. And then the one to the north, it's much more remote, Great Bear Lake. You can't drive to Great Bear Lake, but there's one little community on the west side, population 742. It's called Delaunay, and that's where the second part of this story takes place. So you can open your eyes. So it's 2009. I'm in Yellowknife. Getting ready to go to the field, and my field site's an abandoned mine to the east of Great Bear Lake. Nobody lives there. But then everything changes, because I get this message from Delaunay, from the Saulteaux First Nation, asking me to come and discuss my research with them. And this is really important, because I need their permission to do research on their land. So I changed my original plans, and I managed to get a ticket on a flight to Delaunay that very afternoon. I was a little worried about this meeting, so I went to see some colleagues in the federal agency that was supporting our research, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, Heather. You know, you'll get some really interesting perspective from the Saulteaux. They might ask you a few questions, but I'm sure you'll get your research license." Okay. And then one of them said, "Could you do me a favor and take a birthday cake to Delaunay for a friend of mine there?" And I said, "Sure. Where am I going to get a birthday cake?" And she said, "Well, I'll order it from the grocery store on the way to the airport." Okay. And then the other person there said, "You know, you should take a gift. You're going to be meeting with the elders in the community, and the protocol is that you would bring a gift." And so I said, "Oh, of course, I'll bring a gift, but I've only got a couple of hours before my flight. What can I bring, and where can I get it?" And she said, "You know, it's strawberry season." So we called up the grocery store, and we ordered 2 large fruit plates with as many strawberries as they had. And I got another message from the person who was going to be the cook at the research camp, and he said, "Can you bring 10 liters of coffee cream and 10 loaves of bread?" Okay. So I ran back to my hotel, and I organized my stuff. Now, I had a large cooler full of scientific equipment, and then I had a big backpack with my personal gear. And I called a cab, and I said, "We're going to have to stop at the grocery store." And got to the grocery store, I ran to the bakery, and I said, "I'm picking up a birthday cake ordered by so-and-so." And they said, "Oh, whose birthday is it?" And I said, "I don't know. I just know the name of the person who ordered it." And they said, "Oh, well, we organize our cakes by whose birthday it is." I said, "I don't know who's the name of that person, and I can't get hold of the person who ordered it. I just know the birthday is for someone in Delaunay." And they said, "Oh, Delaunay. We'll figure that out." Okay? I ran to the produce section, and they completely missed our order, but they said, "Don't worry, look at all the strawberries we have. We'll make up those 2 big fruit plates for you in no time." Okay, I grabbed a cart, I got the 10 liters of coffee cream and the 10 loaves of bread, and then I noticed this large black man walking around the grocery store looking at women. Now, I forgot to tell you something. Most of the cab drivers in Yellowknife are from Somalia or Ethiopia. It's a whole community there. There's a great Ethiopian restaurant. There's fantastic music in the cabs. That was my cab driver. He'd forgotten what I looked like. And so I waved him down. I said, "Here I am. Can you carry these things? Help me carry these things." So we got to the airport, And the ticket agent had one look at all my stuff and said, eh. And I said, don't worry. And I pulled up my credit card. I said, I'm used to paying excess baggage charges. And she said, no, that's not the point. We're flying to Twin Otters this afternoon to Delaney. The pilots won't let you take that weight. And then she said, but don't worry, because we've got a flight tomorrow, and I'll let you take 3 things, and we'll ship up the other 2 tomorrow, and I've got a cold room if you want to leave your groceries, and it'll only cost you $350. So, okay, I'll leave the groceries, but what else can I leave? I got to take the birthday cake. Somebody's expecting it, and I'm meeting with the elders, so I need these fruit plates as for my gift. And my scientific equipment was really valuable. I didn't really want to leave that. And I sort of wanted my pajamas and my toothbrush, for my personal gear. So I took my pajamas and my toothbrush out of my personal gear and put them in my carry-on, and she was running $350 through my credit card. And then the pilots came in and they said, okay, let's load up, time to go. And we've got lots of room, we'll take all your luggage. So I got my credit card back. I'm not sure I ever got the $350 back. But anyway, I watched them load everything onto the airplane, and we took off. And you don't fly very high or very fast on a Twin Otter. It's for almost 3 hours, but it was over this amazing landscape, mostly untouched by humans. So the pilots, I have to tell you, they're about 17 years old. Maybe a little bit older, but not much. This is what it's like in the north. This is how they earn their hours, by flying for these small regional airlines. Really young guys. And as we approached Delaney, I was sitting in the cabin where I could see into the cockpit, and I watched the co-pilot pull out a manual. The title of this manual, I kid you not, the title of this manual was How to Land a Twin Otter. But I said to myself, don't worry, Heather, they're doing their homework, this is good. And we landed just fine. And then we taxied up and we landed in Delaney. We taxied up to the end of the runway near the village, and the passengers straggled out, and there was a pickup truck came to the back of the aircraft, and the pilots unloaded the luggage, and there it was. My big backpack, my big cooler full of the scientific equipment, the 6 loose grocery bags with 10 liters of coffee cream and 10 loaves of bread, the big cardboard boxes with the 2 large fruit plates, and no birthday cake. And I said to the pilots, I have another piece of luggage. And they said, no ma'am, you're mistaken ma'am, no more luggage. And I said, no, I watched all the luggage being loaded on Yellowknife. We never stopped anywhere, so it's got to be in that luggage compartment. No ma'am, no more luggage in the luggage compartment. And I don't know if it was all the manning or the youth of these guys, but I felt like a mother of some teenage boys who don't know how to look. So I said, I'll look. And I started to walk towards the Twin Otter. And I think there must be something in their manuals about not letting middle-aged ladies rummage around in their Twin Otters, because those guys sprinted ahead of me, and they stuck their heads in, and there was, the birthday cake. Which is a good thing, because the person who was picking it up had shown up, and they weren't very pleased when it wasn't there at first. So I handed off the birthday cake. I told the driver of the pickup truck, I said, well, you just take my luggage up to the lodge, I'm going to walk. And I walked up beside that big lake, a silvery lake. There was enough wind to keep the mosquitoes away. It was 9:30 at night, but the sun was still high, and the kids and the dogs running around. And I said to myself, okay, Heather, you got to Delaney. All your luggage got to Delaney. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but just for now, don't